All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get these people in here. Whoops, there goes the alarm. All right, jobs report number is out. Should take a look at it here. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Let's see, gonna put a tweet out. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Vicente, good morning. What's going on? BD, good morning. Joey, good morning. Eric, my man, good morning. Sky, good morning. All right. Getting people to kind of come in here. Yes, yes, yes. Oscar, good morning. What's going on? Let's go. All right. It's crazy. I post a link on Twitter and then people are like, what's the Twitter page? KJ, good morning. Preston, good morning. Edgar, my man, what's going on? Mar, good morning. Andrew, good morning. Guys, so what we usually do, we wait about 5 minutes for everyone to kind of tune in here. Once they do, we'll get started with the market analysis and what could happen today, and then we'll go over some of the free alerts, and then I'll open it up for some Q&As for you guys to ask me some questions as you may, and we'll take it from there. As we wait for people to kind of pour in here, usually I wait till 8:35. I'm going to just briefly take a look at the jobs report number and see what that is. So jobs report number seems good. Nothing really fearful there. And that's probably why the market hasn't really reacted too negatively or positively. All right, let's see. Mr. Needham, good morning. Biru, good morning. I don't know if I missed Andrew, but good morning. Leo, good morning. TLP, good morning. Hazem, can you check ABBV for a big move up? We'll do questions near the end. But Eric Evans, Edgar Bing Bong. Yeah, what is Bing Bong? Robert, good morning, good morning. Yusuf, my man, what's going on? RK, good morning. Do you have any advice for day trading options while also working a full-time job? It's gonna be tough because day trading has volatilities and you need to be involved in watching what you're in. Gonna be hard to kind of just leave it alone there and not watch it. But I would say try to trade the first 1 hour of the morning and get back to your works. Any impact from Evergrande defaults? I don't give a shit about Evergrande. I trade the charts. That's all noise to me. Price level will tell me where we're going. The rest is not gonna matter. What you and I think about Evergrande is not irrelevant, and the market will do what the market wants to do. Any very, very hard, Andrew. I try to do this and adds extra stress. Definitely. Amish Patel, good morning. Thanks for hearing this. All right, guys. About 1 more minute to get going. If you guys are here, go ahead and smash the like button. I will greatly appreciate it. And we'll get started in about 1 minute at 8:35 a.m. The Ram, good morning. Longboarding, good morning. All right, guys, getting a little bit of a pull here in the markets. I hope this shit holds up for me to get involved in the morning. I don't like when things move without me in the pre-market, which is kind of annoying. The Swamp Donkey, good afternoon. Did I read that right? The Swamp. Good afternoon from Ireland. What's going on, my man? Kedar, hi. Nice seeing live. Charts look better with your face. Yeah, definitely. I put my face there so you guys can stare at my beautiful face so early in the morning. All right, guys, we got about 10 seconds and we'll get started here. G5, good morning. All right, let's go, guys. So we're gonna get right into it. Obviously, this is the SPY chart. We came back, hit that 50 moving average, and here we are again today, right? I've stressed this so many times over the past, I don't know how many months and years that I've been doing this. Every time we come to the 50 moving average, we pop up. 50 pop, 50 pop, 50 pop, 50 pop, 50 pop. It's like fucking clockwork. So again, a little bit of volatility, of course. These candles weren't easy to sit through with the VIX jumping up to like 35 or whatever the case was. But again, we did hit that 50-day moving average. We found some support at that 450 level, and we're back up here now. So what are we looking at in regards to today's activity? All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to pull up my actual drawings, and then we're going to get into it. All right, so let's get to the... Actually, let's put the 15-minute chart up. It actually looks better. So here on the 15-minute chart, what do we see? We see a push up. We are seeing some sort of exhaustion kind of taking place here, right? We can't get up. We can't get up. We can't get up. Now we're starting to roll over, all right? This builds up exhaustion. This builds up tired buyers. And eventually we could roll over in the short term, all right? Not saying the market's going to collapse. In the short term, we do have an opportunity to either go sideways again or sell off if we do lose this 467.30 level, all right? So that's the level that I'm kind of monitoring today. If we lose this 467.30 level, we do have the opportunity to come lower, at least into this 466, right? This 466 level, lose that, we can see a pull to this 465, 464 level, right? This is going to be a vital area. We kind of need to hold above these levels in order to have, continuation in the days to come. If we do roll over here, we have a big little pocket that we can fall into on the 462 level, all right? So first and foremost, need to stay above 467. Then that's a good sign, all right? If we hold above the 467, where could we go? We have a potential possibility to hit this 469 area and then 470.65, right? As you can see, this little channel here from 467 to 470.65 has been an area we've struggled to get above, right? If we can get above this 470.65 level, we do have the opportunity to push to this 473.50, right? So again, just to kind of rephrase what we said, 467.30 downside opens us up for a pull down to this 464.50 and possibly 462. All right, if we can break above the 470.65, we should see a move higher. All right, but it all starts right here at the 467.30. Need to hold this level in order to continue higher, and if it breaks, we move lower. All right, now gonna jump into the Qs. All right, gonna zoom out. We're gonna look at the daily chart on the Qs. Same thing, hit the 50, bounced up. Now on the Qs, it's a little bit of a different chart, but still very similar to the momentum that we had with the SPY as well. So let's take a look. We can see on the daily here, guys, we have this resistance area right here at the 401 level. And above this, there's not much. So if you guys have been following me for some time, you see that we have that little pocket here, right? So let's get into the closer time frame. So what are we seeing here again? Same similar look to the SPY. We pushed up. We're seeing some sort of consolidation and exhaustion kind of taking place here. If we can't get back above the 398 level, that's the level that I'm kind of monitoring in regards to the Qs. If we can't get above the 398 level, or if we pop up to it and fail to hold above, we could roll over back to this 396. Why this 396? Well, because it's proven to be an area of support in the past, right? Once, twice, resistance was here, they broke out, right? Old resistance becomes new support. So that's the level I'm looking for if we can't get above the 398. If we can't hold that, we'll see a pull to 394, 393, 392, and these levels need to hold, right? Same with the SPY. Again, you saw that under that level, there was a pocket that we can fall into, and the same look here. Okay, now if we do get back above the 398 and we push to that 399.50, great. Then we have an opportunity to break that 401 level or 493. Then we can look for a push to that 403 level and higher. All right, so again, with the Qs, it all starts right here at that 398. either break above it and hold for continuation higher, or we're going to pop up, reject, and roll over. All right. That's kind of what we're looking for in regards to the Qs and the SPY. Very similar look with both of them in the last few days. So can't really say relative strength here or there, but they've both done a well job pushing up, consolidating. Now this consolidation needs to either break to the upside or break to the downside, and then we can get that volatility and trade with the momentum. All right. Now, with that said, let's jump into the free alerts so we can kind of go over that. Those of you guys that are interested in it. First one on the list is NVIDIA. All right, we'll start back up with, NVIDIA looks like it's about to go. We'll start back up with the daily. So the idea here on NVIDIA is that this is an inside day, but why I like it a lot more is because if we look at the 15-minute chart, we have obviously this area that held up yesterday, right? We have some support here in the pre-market. If we can get this NVIDIA under the 315, which looks like it's about to go now, it should see a nice flush down at least to the 312 and then that 308 level, which is an old area of support, old area of resistance, which then turned into support, held and pushed up, right? So that's what I'm looking for on the downside. It's a straight inside day play on the daily. Under that level, we should see a flush down to that 308 level. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'd rather play the downside on this than the upside. All right. Now, if this does get over the 318.75 level, then we're looking for a push higher. Why the 318.75? Well, you get rid of all this congestion here. You have a little pivot right here at 318.75. And if you can get through that, you have the potential to push back up to the 324. All right. So that's the game plan on NVIDIA. If we take a look at Roku has had a massive push yesterday. All right, now the only thing with Roku is that it always tends to give back most of its big gains. That's something I've spotted out. Regardless of that, it's had a strong move up, so we can't neglect that, and we need to kind of pay attention on both directions, right? So was really watching this one. If it does get under the 254 level, which is right here, we can buy puts, and it's going to flush very nicely because everybody who chased this yesterday expecting the bigger move is going to start selling into this, and we're going to get that flush down. Now, if it decides to push, I really want to see this over the 260 level. All right. If it does get above this 260 level, then we can look for continuation higher as the daily chart has room to that 272. Now, where did I come up with that? It's an old level of support from very far back that I have drawn, and it was respected here on this day, on these last couple of days in November, that we pulled back and kind of held above, right? That's that 272 level. So if we can get above that level of 260, I would look for a push to at least the 272 area and kind of be done with it at that point. All right, next one on the list, we got coin. We have this consolidation here under this 280. I'm looking to see if we can flush this further down, at least to the 275 area. It'll consolidate a little bit there, and then possibly can fall to the 270. All right. Now, if this thing gets over 288, which happens to be right here, we can see that there's resistance here on it yesterday all day, right? Pretty much half the remainder of yesterday's day was finding resistance at 288. We break that, we should see a push to the 294. All right. So this is the three that I'm looking for in regards to the free alerts. 288 breaks to the top side, and we'll go to the 294. If 280 breaks to the downside, then we can trade the puts on. All right. So I'm gonna jump into the stream here. See if you guys have any questions. Let me know. Throw some tickers at me if you guys are interested, and then we'll kind of go over them and see what you guys got on your watch list. All right. Let's see. So someone is asking about ABVV. If you guys are going to ask me about tickers, just go ahead and let me know what you're thinking, whether you want to buy calls, puts, you want to day trade, short term, long term, whatever the case may be, let me know. So ABBV was actually a swing trade that we initiated and we took back on, I guess October, was it? Maybe it was October 30th. I don't know. Sometime back here. Pushed up, saw some good money in it, and then eventually ended up breaking out, filled this entire gap, and now sitting above this 121. Currently, I don't really see much pattern in it. However, if it does get over the 122.50, 122.45, it could see a bigger move to the upside. But again, it needs to get back above the 122.45 for me to kind of be interested in that one. All right, let's see what else we got here. Truster Ola. Thoughts on Tesla on the 1050 level. So I was actually looking at Tesla today. I was looking at Tesla today. Tesla has this nice little pocket here, essentially. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, we have a move straight down, right, and then we pop back up. This pop back up is happening on slightly lower volume. That's fine. But if it does get above this 20 moving average, if it does get above that high from yesterday, it does have room to kind of get into this pocket. Now let's take a look at the closer time frame. All right, now it's sitting at 370, right? If we go back to the daily and look at the 370 area, that 370 area is exactly what I was looking at. If we can break that, we fall into a nice little pocket here, right? So go back to the closer time frame. What are we looking at? We need 370 to break to the upside. Then we have the possibility to push at least to this first resistance area right here at 1094, and then above that we have room to kind of come up to the 1130 area, right? So that's what I would pay attention to on Tesla. It needs to break that 1070 area. If it breaks under 1056, then it has a nice little pocket from yesterday that it can fall to the 1043 level. Okay, so pay attention to that on Tesla. All right, next one on the list, Lucid, coming in with that offering yesterday. I think it scared a lot of people. If we take a look at the daily chart, pop back up here. Right now it's sitting at 41. So right here again, I think this one is in a little bit of a trouble here. If it rolls over and decides to lose this support again at 41, it's going to see a nice flush down into that 40.39 level. Okay, so I'd wait for this one to see if it's going to break 41 for downside. If you want to trade it on the upside, you really need to clear 43 first in order to get to the 44.45 area. Let's take a look at Amazon. We'll start with the daily. Take a look at the daily. Amazon here really only would be interested over the 35.50 level. All right, so let's take a closer time frame. 35.50, we can see we have resistance. Would need to clear this in order to track this higher, and only for short term here. Don't see anything in the long term. In the swing trade aspect, not much pattern on the daily there. Over the 35.52, we should see a push higher to the 3600. Now, if you lose this level of 3500, then you see that flush into the 34.62 level. Daku and Asan for gap fill. Asan, yeah, looks good for a gap fill. Daku, let's take a look at Daku chart. Daku looks good today too. I think we have it on the watch list. So Daku looks good. I got no issues with Daku. Over the 155.50 level, should push to the 160 area, and then over that, it's got room to go a little bit higher there. So not a bad idea. I like this for that gap fill as well, like you mentioned. PPYL. I'm not sure if you mean PayPal. Maybe you mean PayPal. Let's take a look at the daily. PayPal coming into that resistance right here in the 20 moving average. The 266 is the level of resistance on it. Let's take a look. So on this one, for just a day trade aspect, I would really need this to at least over 197 or 198. Then you can look for a push to the 266 level. All right. Otherwise, if it loses 195 right here, it should flush lower back to the 193 level. So nothing in the midterm. However, for day trading purposes, you have some levels that you can base it off of. But because we're sitting at that 200 moving average on the daily, it's not something that I would kind of pay attention to. I want stocks that have room to move with not much resistance above them, right? So if you look at anything that I'm posting, there's usually some sort of area that it has a pocket or not much resistance overhead in order for me to trade it. Uber calls. Let's take a look at Uber. Uber calls. So it's a little inside day you put in yesterday. Pretty little wild inside day actually. Pretty big range in a sense, I should say. For calls, you really need this back above that 39 level. If it gets back above the 39 level, you could look for calls towards that 39.40 and ultimately the 40. However, if it does roll over and starts breaking this 38 level, I think it puts itself in a position to fall further down, right? We have this pop down pushing up closer to these resistance areas now. If it does lose that 38, it puts itself in a nice little pocket that it can actually fall down towards. So not something, not a bad trade actually on the downside if it breaks the 48 on Uber. GME puts, volatility is going to be high on those. I would probably stay away. Implied volatility can kill you on that. Tesla calls short term. I think we discussed that. Fun calls Lightspeed. I don't know what the ticker for that is. I think it's LTS. Lightspeed. LSPD. What was it? LSPD long term. LSPD long term. Again, anything in regards to the long term, you have to understand. Have you done your financial research? Is the company have cash flow positive? What's their outlook? As far as the chart wise go, I mean, I haven't looked into the finances of this company for long term. I would probably say you can start right here. You can start right here at that maybe $40 level, or even the 48 level. You can start here with 1/5 of a position and then add as it comes down, or find yourself a better cost average, but you never want to go full pop into a long-term position. Fun, not something I really touch, not something I advise newer traders to touch. This chart looks like AIDS. Sub $10 stock I don't really fuck with. How's Apple? 175 call option. Apple, let's take a look at Apple. So Apple, nice explosive move here. Really needs market sentiment to kind of get involved. So give me 1 second. So it really needs market sentiment to kind of get involved here. Need to watch at least over the 175. I mean, Apple just moves so slow for my liking. And you need to be a very patient trader, because if we go into the 5-minute time frame, look at this. It's continuously moving up, but it doesn't do it steadily. It just jumps around. So you're not going to get a fluid move on it. If it does break over the 175 and market does look strong today, this should continue higher to the 177 area at least, because that's what they're chasing in regards to the calls that they've been buying almost all day yesterday. How about ZM long term? ZM long term, you gotta be a little careful with this one. I mean, it was up so much. This is actually a great position to start in the long term if you're interested, if you've done the research on this company. Again, so 175 would be an area to start. Okay, then you need levels on the downside to look where to add. Right, we have an opportunity right there, and possibly right there. This would probably be one of the best areas to get involved in, as that's like that prior area, right? So I would start again with 1/4 of a position and look to add anytime that it does dip, right? Because if you think about people who dip bought this up here, they're roasted down here. They dip bought up here, they're roasted down here, right? So you always want to give yourself the ability to add to your position, especially at a long-term area. This I do see, if it does ever get down to the 108, this should essentially just bottom out right here and then continue higher. There's no reason why this was a $600 stock and now it's a $100 stock at this point. So a starting average here is not bad, but you need 1/4 or 1/5 starter size on these ones. Let's take a look at the next one here, ZG. Guys, if you guys are here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's take a look at ZG. ZG, not much here happening on the daily. I don't have much of a pattern. We're coming into these resistance areas here. The move isn't really fluid. Would really need to clear the 67 area. What is it sitting at in the pre-market? Yeah, 65.50, 66 area is the level that I would need this to kind of clear. Some congestion here. If it does get over that, then we can look for this little pocket area to try to get this to go into that little area right here, right? So if we get over the 65.50, we have some room to push this thing up to at least this area right here, the 69. That's what I would look for. Okay, I would pay attention to these levels. The 65.50, if it breaks, it has room to fill into that pocket right there. What's some of your favorite setups to play? Falling wedges, bull pennant, 3-bar plays, gap fills, and pockets are things that I love trading. Oracle looking a little weak here. Keep an eye on this level at 87.75. If it breaks that, it's going to see a nice flush to the downside. Yesterday, considering the market was pretty sideways, it gave back a lot of its position here. Big fall right out of the open, pushed back up. If this fails to stay above that 88.75, 89 level, it's going to roll right back down. So keep an eye on this one. I wouldn't be looking to buy calls on this today. RH upside. I think RH had earnings today, so that might be some of the reason for the move there. But it's giving back most of its gains here. So I would actually look for a gap fill play on this on the downside if it does fall off. I don't like trading earnings even the day after because premiums are so inflated. So I would watch this bearish under 632, and if it gets back above 640, possibly bullish until that 662 level, but not something that I'm looking to play with today. GFS. Brand new chart here. GFS, what did you say? January 23rd, 70 calls long. Again, I don't really see much pattern here other than every time it comes to this 20 moving average, it looks like it's bouncing. So you do have, pretty consistency here with the bounces off the 20. If you're going to do this trade, I would say have your stops right here at 62.50, 62.40 level. As far as the daily chart goes, I don't really see much here. There's not much pattern. Don't really see anything other than, again, like I said, just a bounce off the 20 moving average. Facebook looks like it's hanging out at the bottom side of the channel on the 5-day long calls. So Facebook has gone up 3 days in a row, right? Where do you want to buy calls on Facebook? I would buy calls only if this pops back above 330. This pops back up above 330 and holds, then you can kind of look to buy calls. Otherwise, right now, after this big push up under the 330, it does look like it wants to fall back down to the 327 to retest that area. I think Uber we talked about. TGT for a put today. I like TGT for a put. I think you're in the VIP group, so that's already been explained on TGT. Let me take a look. Yeah, TGT, I have that on there as well. AMD, Apple. Let's take a look at AMD. Apple we talked about plenty of times today. So AMD sell off, popping back into this 20 moving average. It kind of essentially lost its momentum, breaking that 20, and now it's kind of popping up back up on lower volume, hitting that resistance area. Similar look to Nvidia there with the sell off. Again, I would watch this under that 143, 144 level for downside. If it breaks that, it should see a nice pull to the downside here on AMD. For calls, you need to stay above 145.50 in order to continue higher here. 145.60, 145.50 would be the level you need to stay above to buy calls on AMD. I think ZG we talked about. Let's talk about UPST. All right. UPST, so nice sell-off, hit that 200-day moving average. Had a pretty decent day, last few days actually. What are we looking for here? I mean, ideally on UPST, you have this pocket of area that you can kind of push into, right? You have some resistance at 220. You have 199.90 as your resistance point from the other day. You really need to get back above this to move higher. So let's take a look at the closer time frame. Let's see what we're seeing there. Obviously the 190.90 was acting as resistance yesterday. We kind of rolled over, not holding up very well here in the pre-market. Again, that's probably because of the overall market sentiment. So where I would be interested on UPST is over the 199.90. If we can get above 199.90, you can see we have pretty nice pocket to the 220. Otherwise, I would hold off or wait for some sort of intraday pattern to kind of pan out and show itself. All right. So guys, it is 9 a.m. I got to pop back into the Discord, get ready for the trading day. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. I do this every Thursday. If you guys are still here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, always know that you can reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, wherever the case may be. Shoot me a message. I try to answer everybody as quickly and as often as I can. So that way you guys can get some help, with your trading and whatnot. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Much love. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I will catch you on Discord and Twitter. Peace.